fun facts you probably didn't know about the band Led Zeppelin. I'm just going to jump right into it here. Fun fact number one, they stole the song Stairway to Heaven. I'm not going to entirely disagree with that, but I'm not going to entirely agree with it either. In the last year or two, it was actually, they won the lawsuit. There was a lawsuit pending against them about the Stairway to Heaven deal, and they won it. So, I mean, it was proven in a court of law. It was decided in a court of law that they were not guilty of any copyright infringement, and they did not steal any music for that song. I will say, though, however, if you listen to the intro to Stairway, and then go and listen to the intro to a song called Taurus by the band Spirit, the note correlations on the guitars in both those intros are strikingly similar. I mean, strikingly similar. It's crazy. And honestly, Zeppelin was pretty notorious for doing stuff like that over the years, not just with Stairway, but with other songs as well. I know another one was Bring It On Home, a knockoff of like an old 1930s like country's blues song or whatever, but I'm getting off point. Fun fact number two, the name for the band Led Zeppelin, the idea actually came from Keith Moon, the drummer for the band The Who, and before they were Led Zeppelin, they called themselves the New Yardbirds. While we're on the subject of Yardbirds, that'll take us right into fun fact number three. Guitarist Jimmy Page actually played in the band The Yardbirds with Jeff Beck in the late 60s, briefly. The Yardbirds broke up in 1968, and after that, Page went on to form the New Yardbirds and eventually became Led Zeppelin. So, history was made there in the late 60s. Fun fact number four, most of the material for Zeppelin's second album, Led Zeppelin 2, was written and recorded while they were still on the road touring and on their first album, Led Zeppelin 1, and their debut album, while they were touring and promoting Led Zeppelin 1. Talk about some sleepless nights, huh? Yeah, fuck that. But, fun fact number five, Led Zeppelin's debut album, Led Zeppelin 1, was all financed by Jimmy Page himself. What a fucking guy to do that. I believe his reason behind that was he didn't want to lose any creative or artistic like control over Led Zeppelin, and actually probably a pretty smart move because just a smart business move. The record music industry is notoriously known for ripping people off, and funnily enough, Tool actually did a similar thing in 1992 when they released their EP Opiate. They released their EP before they released their first full-length album, Undertow. So, but yeah, the music biz can be a pretty shady thing sometimes. So, fun fact number six, you know the song When the Levee Breaks off Led Zeppelin 4, Led Zeppelin Untitled, So, whatever the hell you want to call it. When the Levee Breaks, Led Zeppelin only played that live 3 times. 3 times. Which is pretty surprising because it's not their most popular song, but it's one of their more well-known songs. So, just an interesting little fact. But hey, that's why we're here, right? Moving on, fun fact number 7. Like Danny Carey from Tool, Jimmy Page is also a fan of the occult, and they both are avid collectors of Allister Crowelley memorabilia and first edition Allister Crowelley books. Where Jimmy Page has Danny Carey beat, though, is back in the day, back in like the 70s, I think, Jimmy Page actually purchased one of Allister Crowelley's old houses. Not something I would do. I don't know if you don't know anything about that guy, Google him, but I wouldn't want to live in a house that guy lived in. Just saying. Not my kind of style, you know what I'm saying? Moving on, fun fact number 8. This is really no secret, but Zeppelin's drummer, John Bonham, was a pretty wicked alcoholic. I mean, obviously, that's ultimately how Zeppelin ended, but on the last day he was alive, it's been said that throughout the course of the day, he consumed like 40 or 50 shots worth of alcohol. Like, holy shit, man. Like, you think you're a fucking alcoholic, you ain't got shit on Bonham. Jesus Christ, man. 16 of which he consumed at breakfast time. Him and his manager were on the way to the recording studio, and they stopped to get breakfast. And this would have been between 8 and 10 in the morning. And just at breakfast, Bonham had 4 quadruple vodkas. That's 16 shots just at breakfast. Before noon. Yeah, go write a song about that, Jimmy Buffett, you fuck. But he drank heavily throughout the rest of the day, and then ended up crashing at Jimmy Page's house later that night. And Led Zeppelin's manager and John Paul Jones found Bonham dead in one of the spare bedrooms the next morning. He choked on his own vomit. Ultimately leading to the demise of Led Zeppelin. Moving on, fun fact number 9. The song Houses of the Holy and the album Houses of the Holy have nothing to do with each other. The album Houses of the Holy came out first. It was Led Zeppelin's 5th album. And the song Houses of the Holy was on the Physical Graffiti album. I believe that was their 6th album. Don't quote me on that, but it was their 6th or their 7th album. And yeah, at least not that I'm aware of, there's no correlation between the songs. If I'm wrong, by all means, feel free to comment down below and tell me. Okay, and last but not least, Jimmy Page. Jimmy fucking Page. All I can say about this guy is he is lucky that Dateline NBC was not around in the 1970s, because Chris Hansen would have busted his ass. You know why? In the early 70s, when Zeppelin was making music and, touring, doing their thing when they were really, at their peak, when they were really popular, he was secretly dating a 14-year-old girl. Which, her name was Lori Maddox. She was a groupie, but fuck, dude. Nowadays, there'd be no way you'd be able to fucking get away with that period, or even be able to hide it. But even back then, though, the 70s, that would have been kind of that'd have probably been some jail time back then, I would imagine. And it definitely would have been frowned upon, but back then, though, with the media, and the news and all that shit was nothing like it is today. So it was easier to actually, for big public figures, to actually keep shit private in their lives back then. But hey, he hit it well and he got away with it, and he ended up dumping her and moving on to some other groupie whore who was a gold digger too. I don't know. But anyway, that wraps that up. 10 fun facts that you may or may not have known about Led Zeppelin. On a little side note, this was a little off topic, but I do plan on making more videos like this in the future about other bands. Little fun facts, things about other bands. So if you have any requests, any bands you want me to do that on, by all means, feel free to shout them out in the comment section below. To keep up with that, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And also, be sure to subscribe to get the latest and greatest on Tool news and album updates and all that other good stuff. I'll talk to you later. Peace.